So right now I'm 30 years old, but if I could go back in time to myself when I was just getting started out with stocks and options and give myself advice on how to get rich much faster with stocks and options, this is exactly what I would say to myself. Here we go. So number one is going to be timing the market and how it's almost impossible to do, even though most people think they could actually do it. So this chart right here shows you how much money you would have if you would have put $10,000 in the S&P 500 from 1995 to 2024. So just one lump sum purchase. If you would have stayed invested for all the days in the market, all the bumps that happened in this whole time frame right here, you would have ended up with $224,000. Not bad off of a $10,000 investment. But if you would have just missed the 10 best days in the market, I'm talking 10 days in this whole time frame right here, your return would have been 54% less, which would have brought you down to $102,000. If you would have missed the best 20 days in this time period right here, your return would have been $60,000 or 73% less, and 30 days would have brought you down to $38,000. So just showing you this right here, it makes sense to just stay invested in the market and also know that the best 50 days in the market in this time frame right here happened during a bear market when the sentiment was negative. So number two is compound interest and how it actually works. And I really wish I knew this starting out because I would have got started investing so much sooner. So I'm going to show you a little calculation here just to show you the power of compound interest. So let's say you start out with $500 right now. You do $1,000 a month contribution to your brokerage account. We say you do that for 30 years, and keep in mind $1,000 a month 30 years from right now is not going to feel like $1,000. So this number could easily go much higher. But if you just stick to these numbers right here, and we estimate that you're going to make 12% per year on average in the stock market, guess how much money that you're actually going to have in your brokerage account just by doing $1,000 a month, starting out with $500 for 30 years. You're going to have $3.5 million. Look at the growth of this chart right here. And you can see a lot of the growth starts coming on the tail end of the chart. So that's why it's ultra critical to get started investing right now so that you could capitalize on this compound interest curve right here and grow your portfolio exponentially. So number three is massive. And honestly, most people get wiped out in their portfolios because of this. And it's the emotional aspect of investing. So looking at this chart, it's a fear-greed index, and the orange line corresponds to the S&P 500, which is the 500 largest companies in America based on one basket of them put together. And the blue line right here corresponds to the fear-greed index. So the higher the fear-greed index goes, the more greedy that people are, meaning they're more optimistic. They're just throwing their money in the stock market and not really worrying about it going down. Now, when the numbers go down on the blue chart where it's on these dips right here, this is where the stock market's usually going down and people are super fearful. But if you correlate that to certain dips right here, like this dip right here, the market went down, you can see the market went super fearful in that time frame. But if you just bought the market when it was somewhere in this 25 range or below on the fear greed index, you would have pretty much timed every single bottom perfectly. So the point that I'm trying to get at is this. When people are fearful out there in the market, you're going to read all the negative news articles. Everyone's going to be freaking out trying to get you to sell your stocks. But that is one of the best times to buy the dip and hold for the long run. And when people are piling their money in the stock market and things are going straight up, that is a time to get a little bit nervous because valuations are then getting extended. The market might be a bubble. That would be a good time to consider selling. So number four is a true make or break for your portfolio. And if you don't understand this, it will cost you over $1 million in your portfolio in the long run. I'm going to show you a calculator just to prove that to you. But I just want to be crystal clear right now. All of this stuff in this video is ultra critical, and you have to understand everything here because if you missed out on the last thing that I'm going to show you in just a minute, none of this stuff matters. You will not scale your portfolio to millions of dollars. So number four, it's the effect of fees on your portfolio. So we're going to run two calculations right now. We're going to say you contribute $12,000 a year at an expected rate of return of 12% per year at a 2% annual fee for 30 years. So this is calculation number one. In calculation number two, the only difference is we're going to go with an annual fee of 0.04 of 1%. These are real numbers here that I'm going to show you how they actually play out. So 0.04 versus 2% right here. So you're going to say, 2% is not a lot of money. It's just going to take a little bit of my returns in the long run. That is the farthest thing from the truth. So if we scroll down, if you had no fees, you would have had $3.2 million in your portfolio, but you did have to pay that fee of 2%, and that added up to over $1 million. So the actual money that you're going to end up with in the long run is only going to be $2.1 million. So that equals 33%. So understand that a 2% fee does not equal 2% less of this final investment value right here. It's 2% every single year that they just take from you on the total investment value. So 2% shown right here is massive. And then if we flip to the example where the fee is only 0.04 of 1%, which the ETF ticker VOO, which tracks the S&P 500, that is what it is, You scroll down, you would still have the same $3.2 million if there was no fee. But with that small fee, you're only going to pay $26,000 in fees total for your investment value total to be $3.2 million. So you're only paying 26K in fees right here, but you're paying over $1 million in fees right here. And it's just the difference of 2% to 0.04%. So that is massive. You have to understand that. Number 5 is volatility, and most people see volatility as risk, but if you're a good investor and you know what you're doing, volatility actually creates opportunity for you. Let me show you why. So this is a chart of the S&P 500 going all the way back to 1996 to current rate now, and you can see right now it's currently 5,693 bucks per share, and it started out all the way in 1996 at 748 bucks per share. So you can see the market goes up, the market goes down, it goes up, it goes down. This was a 2008 crash right here for the housing market. We had the COVID crash right here. We had when the Fed raised interest rates right here and the market went down. And right now we have this little dip right now because valuations are a little bit extended and there's all these tariff talks that are potentially scaring investors that we're going to go into a recession. So let's look at this time frame right here as an example. 2008, everybody was freaking out. The housing market was crashing. The S&P 500 went down roughly 50%. So maybe you bought right here, you made a little bit of money, and then the market went straight down. You would have lost 50% of your money. Most people sold right here on the bottom because they were just freaking out and capitulating, saying, I'm never going to do the stock market ever again. And then look what happened after that. The market pretty much went straight up. And of course, there's a lot of bumps along the way and a lot of bad things that happened in this time frame right here, but the market still pushed much higher. So if you would have been a good investor and went against the herd and really understood that right here was a buying opportunity and maybe right here things were a little bit expensive, maybe you would have carried less risk in your portfolio right here and exposed yourself to more risk in your portfolio right here to capitalize on things that are happening right here. Of course, things like COVID are very hard to predict, but if you would have bought right here at peak COVID, yeah, you would have been down a lot shortly after. But if you would have just held on for just a few months, this dip was pretty much straight down and straight up, you would have been okay as if COVID never even happened. Even if you would have bought the top right here in 2021, the market went down roughly 30%, but if you would have just been patient and held on, you would have did very well. So maybe right here, the market was a little bit overvalued. Maybe right here is a little bit undervalued. If you would have just capitalized right here and said, okay, I'm going to have less risk, and then down here have a little bit more risk, you would have did very, very well if you would have used that opportunity to your advantage. So number 6 is massive, and I honestly struggled with this a lot when I was getting started out, is to know what you truly own in the stock market. I see so many people on X, on Instagram, on YouTube, talking about all the hot stocks that are totally disconnected from the fundamentals, and people that watch the videos that don't really understand how the stock market actually works, they just go buy into those stocks blindly and not really understand, hey, price is what you pay, but value is what you actually get. I mean, this pen right here, this marker right here, if I told you that this marker was $1, maybe it's a good deal. But if this marker right here was $5,000, would it be worth it to you to go buy for $5,000? Yes, it's a good marker. It can write on a dry erase board, but it's not worth $5,000 no matter what. So price is what you pay, value is what you get. $1 for this is good. $5,000 for this is not good. So you need to understand that stuff if you really want to be a good investor, because when times get tough, it's so easy to just go read a negative news article and sell out of everything at the bottom of the market. And that could be the exact wrong time to sell things. That might be the time to actually go buy things on the dip. So understand this and you'll do okay. Number 7 is this idea that most people try to complicate investing just to justify themselves in the investing field. Let me explain a little bit. We've all heard of Jim Cramer. We all watch his TV show every now and then just to see what he's talking about. But Jim often tries to complicate investing so that you'll never understand investing, so that you will pay him his monthly fee to go into his investing service where he shows you, hey, I buy these stocks and I sell these stocks. Understand that a lot of people have agendas with investing. I like to keep things simple, buy into stocks that are trading below intrinsic value, use stock options to magnify your returns, and keep it simple. You don't want to have these 6-leg option strategies that if this happens, it does this, if this happens, it does that. The goal is to really understand, do I feel like the stock is going to go up or down? Do I want to buy it or do I want to sell it? And if I really have a lot of conviction that it's going to go up, maybe I'll just buy call options, maybe I'll just buy the shares, or maybe I will sell put options. Keep your stuff simple, because the more complicated that you make it, the more that you're really claiming you know precisely what this stock is going to do. The stock market in the short term is very, very hard to know what it's going to do, but the key is to capture gross movements up or down. Gross meaning just like a big move. If you understand that something is grossly undervalued, do something bullish on it. And if you think something is overvalued, do something kind of bearish on it. That's what truly makes millions of dollars. That is the strategy that scaled me to millions of dollars by just keeping things ultra simple. But the people that want to try to take money from you, they will complicate it because they want to justify their worth. So number 8 is one that totally blew my mind when I learned about this, and it's the bet that Warren Buffett made in 2008 that he is going to put his money in the S&P 500, and he let hedge funds try to outperform him in a 10-year time period. Let's look at the chart to see how he did. So this chart right here goes from 2008 to 2016, which is 9 years of cumulative returns. And you could see Warren Buffett bought into the index fund, which is the S&P 500. He did 85% total. The average hedge fund did 22% in that time period, with the best one doing 62%. So you could see he did absolutely nothing, just making one purchase in the S&P 500, and did nothing for 9 years and totally smoked all these funds right here. And a lot of financial advisors and hedge fund guys try to talk this story down, but I think it's all BS, because think about it. If you had the opportunity to make a bet with Warren Buffett and say that on a 9 or 10-year time horizon, I'm going to get better returns than you, of course you're going to do that if you have that opportunity. Because think about it. If you beat him, you are going to be the most famous hedge fund guy on planet Earth. They're going to bring you on CNBC, bring you on Yahoo, bring you on Bloomberg, and say, look, this is a guy that beat Warren Buffett. He is the guru of the entire stock market. Give your money to him and he'll manage it for you. And of course, you're going to put your money in his hedge fund and he's going to charge you the super high fee and make a bunch of money off you. The point that I'm trying to get at is this. Nobody got even close to beating Warren Buffett in that time frame by making one purchase in the S&P 500 and did nothing for 9 to 10 years. He did nothing. All those guys, this was right before the 2008 financial crisis. There's a lot of opportunity in the market to maybe sell at the top and then buy at the bottom. None of those hedge funds did that. They all just stayed in the market. They tried to get cute. They did this crazy strategy and all that stuff, and they got totally wiped out. They did not beat the S&P 500. So understand that 90% of financial advisors will not beat the S&P 500 after fees. So if you do have an advisor, make sure you go ask them, what is your returns versus the S&P 500 after fees? I bet you that your advisor is not beating the S&P in the long run after fees. Now, my strategy, what I do, which I'm going to go into in just a second, I do beat the S&P 500 in the long run easily with stocks and options the right way. And if the hedge fund guys would have just done my strategy, they would have done very well. So we'll do number 9 here super quick, and then number 10 is going to change everything, how you invest in the stock market and do stock options, and how you could scale to millions so much faster than what you could actually think. But number 9 is that you need to just be patient in the stock market. That is it. I understand that when you invest for the long run and you invest in quality companies at a good valuation level, you will probably do very well, but you just have to be patient and wait it out for a few years. If you want to put your money in the market and maybe you need it in like 2 years from right now, I don't recommend anybody do that, because what if you're going to buy a house 2 years out from right now? You have 100K, you put in the market goes down maybe 20%. Now you only have $80,000 to go buy that house. But if you would have bought like a CD or a bond and got 5% per year, your 100K 2 years from now might be like $110,000 if you assume a 5% annual return. So understand that being patient in the stock market is what's going to make you the most amount of money in the long run. Doing all this short-term, high-frequency trading stuff, you are gambling and you are speculating. You need to be an investor, not a speculator. So if you made it this far in a video, congratulations. You're actually telling yourself that you're taking this serious because you made it to number 10. So number 10 is hands down the number one most important thing that you could ever do in the stock market. Way more important than this video, way more important than doing whatever you're going to do today. The most important thing that matters right now is to educate yourself. That is number 10. Now, before you click off this video, just understand this. I have read hundreds of investing books. I've done probably at least 25 courses. I've been to many seminars. I have many 9-figure mentors that teach me so much stuff. And if I didn't do all that stuff, how would I know how to capitalize on stock market opportunities? Even real estate. I buy a bunch of rental properties. If you don't know what you're looking for, how do you expect to find it? So if you just go read what someone says on X or watch a video that someone talks about on YouTube and they say, this is a hot stock, just go buy it, you're never going to make money doing that. So if you want to do 4 things right now that will totally take your investing game to the next level, read these 3 books right here. So number 1 is going to be The Intelligent Investor. This is Warren Buffett's number 1 favorite book. Read the one right here. It's called A Random Walk Down Wall Street. This is one of my favorite books to read. And then another really good one is called Stocks for the Long Run. I have personally read all 3 of these books multiple times in my investing career, and I actually just finished Stocks for the Long Run again because it's a lot of really good information in there, and you'll learn so much by just rereading books because you forget about some content and it's good to refresh on stuff. But if you really want to take your investing game to the next level and not have to read all these books, Click the link in my video description below to get into my course. You'll land on a website that looks like this. All you got to do is check out the reviews right here and see what other people are saying. You'll learn a little bit about what you're going to learn in the course right here. Click enroll here and see the price. You'll go to the next page. You'll go straight to the checkout page and you will be into my course immediately. So if you're interested in doing that, definitely check it out. But if you don't want to do my course, watch the video right here. It's a little bit more detailed on how I do stock options. I'll see you guys there.